Good late morning, 11:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. If you guys are just tuning in and you haven't seen my earlier update, I did an update around 2:45, 3 a.m. It's got just over 400 views, but over 100 likes already. So if you're from other parts of the world, if you're from the USA and you didn't get to see that, I'm trying to make a dedicated effort overnight to do updates for Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and such places of these areas. So, England. So, if you're watching, I appreciate it. And share it far and wide. Now, big news to get to this morning: Coinbase agrees to a $100 million settlement as they were fined by U.S. investigators in the New York province. So, we'll click on one of these, we'll read it, and then we will get to the charts. So Coinbase, we'll go to the New York Times. Coinbase reaches 100 million settlement with New York regulators. Actually, no, I'm not doing the New York Times because they always try to charge people. We'll use let's see what CNBC says. Coinbase settles with New York State financial regulator for 100 million stock spikes. Brian Armstrong Crypto Exchange Coinbase reached a $100 million settlement with the New York Department of Financial Services over historical shortcomings in anti-money laundering and know your customer standards at the company. Coinbase will pay a $50 million fine and invest a further $50 million into strengthening internal compliance programs after regulators found that Coinbase has failed to thoroughly vet new customers. Shares jumped on the news, spiking over 12%. Coinbase settled a case with New York State financial regulator, the parties announced Wednesday, and will pay a $50 million fine and invest a further $50 million in compliance efforts. Regulators from the New York Department of Financial Services said that the company had long-standing failures in the anti-money laundering program. Coinbase shares spiked more than 12% on the settlement news. The company is the only publicly traded cryptocurrency exchange in the United States. Coinbase disclosed a regulatory probe in the 202110-K filing with the SEC. The latest enforcement action comes after both state and federal regulators have ramped up efforts after the November 2022 collapse of FTX, once one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world. Major players like Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust rely on Coinbase to custody their assets in cold storage, and the company prominently touts their compliance and security efforts in SEC filings and online. The exchange holds licenses across the United States and globally. So I don't want to really go a whole bunch of this, but I just wanted to get this agreement includes a $50 million penalty and a separate commitment from Coinbase to invest $50 million in our compliance program over 2 years. Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grohl said in a statement, regulators wrote that Coinbase compliance shortcomings led to suspicious or unlawful conduct being facilitated through Coinbase platform, according to the consent order. In one case, a Coinbase customer who had been charged with crimes related to child sexual abuse was not flagged by Coinbase's system when the user joined the exchange. Regulators wrote for over 2 years. Regulators say that the user engaged in suspicious transactions potentially associated with illicit activities without detection. Coinbase ultimately identified the user, closed out the account, and reported the activity to law enforcement. The company said it had committed to rectifying the issues identified by regulators. Coinbase's leadership team has long been pushing for broader and clear regulations for the crypto space. Despite the prevailing notion that crypto companies don't want to be regulated, many, if not most, companies have been working with policymakers for years, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong wrote in an op-ed for CNBC. Coinbase, like much of the tech industry, was forced to pare back headcount growth and capital-intensive projects, trimming 18% of the workforce in the summer of 2022. The layoffs came after a decline in user base and a 27% revenue drop year over year. So I just wanted to keep everybody up to date with what's going on. As Coinbase was fined $100 million for anti-money laundering program because they failed to properly vet their users after letting a child sex predator use the platform for many years to send money to do very bad things. Now let's take a look at the charts. Now that we got the Coinbase debacle under control. Like I said, I wouldn't touch Coinbase with a 10-foot dildo. It's just, that's my personal opinion. I wouldn't touch any U.S. Cryptocurrency exchange. And Coinbase is run in the USA, so. But we have the Dow Jones up 246 points, which it's something, but every time we get these little gains, all it is a retest of old levels after a breakdown. So last week, we did get, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, in the middle of December, right around my birthday, last week of December, We did get up to almost 34,700. Now we broke down, and now we're looked to be getting rejected around the 33,260 mark. I know we popped up briefly, so we're going to see if we can hold this, but 33,260 is what you want to watch in the in the Dow Jones. And if we break 33,260, this is a meaningless push up. But if we can hold it, maybe we can start to build some kind of, and I wouldn't even call this a rally because all we're doing is retesting the old levels. This, on the other hand, with DXY looks bullish. Looks like we put in a bull flag. Looks like we're holding this downtrending support line at about 104.10. Looks like we're on top in the 20-day as well. We need to stay above 104.20, 104 spot. Yeah, about 104.20, so we are slightly below it. 104.14 is what we want to stay above right now. So we're right on that line right now. So about 0.3 of a cent. So 104.14 you're going to pay attention to. We've got precious metals that are doing pretty well this morning. Some are up 4 or 5%. Just we're starting this nice little bull market, and we've been talking about it for a long time. And then I really want to focus on XRP right now. XRP is still stuck below 35 cents. Despite all of the up and down, XRP managed to have a small little breakout, and now we're just consolidating down. And right now we're still above the 345, which is good. We want to hold that 20-day in the 4-hour time frame, but we've got to get above this downtrending resistance here at 348. So right now you're trying to get above the 348, and that would allow you to come up to the 355, and then maybe up to the 371 broken symmetrical triangle support, and use it as resistance. We've already done it once, so there's no guarantee it comes up. This could just be building a right shoulder. It could be on a small bull flag here as well if you use it from the bottom, and then that could get us up to almost 40 cents. It could get us all the way up here if it did make a proper run, but 45 cents seems very long. Seems very hard to get to because we have not had a retest of that broken bull flag yet. And we're still waiting to see if that happens because we are in a much bigger ascending triangle. So technically the uptrending support is down here at about 324. And then the downtrending resistance, if you come all the way back to the top, is technically still in the area around 50 cents. So it wouldn't be surprising if it did come all the way up there if we don't break down. It'd be a little surprising just because of the volume profile, but that is definitely, this whole pattern right here can still fill out. So don't forget that when you're watching this pattern. So I'm only showing you this one chart today because I want you to see exactly what happens if we were to play up. These are the two levels. You got 355 after the 348, and then you got 371. You break that, then obviously it can get pretty interesting, but we've got a lot of work to do before we can even talk about that. And then if you want to see XRP, XLM, DGB, Bitcoin, and ZIL, I did an update this morning on those. So if you want to see the current price movement. And then it's always fun to see the year-to-date on Bitcoin is down 60% in one calendar year right now, or down better than 26,200 points in the last one calendar year. And then if we look at the chart right now, Bitcoin is still fighting this channel. It's this downtrending resistance, and it happens to line up perfectly with the 200. We're trying to put in a bull flag here, but it could be a fake out. We need to get above 16,900 and hold it. That's our key right now with Bitcoin. Or are we going to fall below 16,700 first and continue to the downside? That's all we need to know, and that's all I'm paying attention to. Make sure you hit that like button, turn that bell notification to all, and subscribe to the channel if you're new or returning. Find out why more than 15,300 people have already subscribed. See why. And one of the main reasons is not only because of the information, it's because I don't do any paid advertising, no paid promotions, and I don't have any special interest. Nobody tells me what I talk about, when to talk about it, or how to talk about it. I cover what I think is important, and I cover it the way that I see fit. And I don't really give two shits about special interests. I don't give a fuck about what everybody else on YouTube is saying, and I really don't give two flying fucks what everybody thinks. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether it kills my ratings or not. I'm going to tell you the way you need to hear it. V-Chain real quick, and then we're going to leave at H-Bar. V-Chain has had massive breakdowns. I mean, we've already come through massive levels. And we're going to build this for everybody real quick, just so we can see exactly what we're trying to do here. That's the downtrending support, so I want to keep it like that. But we did create a smaller pattern here. Let's let's keep it in the 4-hour time frame, just so we can get a little bit of. We're gonna have to make the best of this because this pattern is very bearish.
until there's a so-called unity candidate or a plan B here who's not named Jim Jordan or maybe even Steve Scalise.
Yeah, but think about what you're saying. You're saying that the votes of over 200 members of Congress don't mean anything. So that's why I think these discussions are important. We put a lot of emphasis on those who have said they're going to vote no or have voted no yesterday.
Okay, so
the 200 people that are consistently saying the only candidate that they'll support is Kevin McCarthy. And that's why these meetings today are
okay, so the downtrending resistance on V chain, if we can't break out, would be coming up to 0.169, about 0.17. If we can't break out, if we break above that, then we could possibly come to the 2 cent mark, which is a pretty big push up from here. I mean, it's not huge, but it's something. If we break down, our next obvious support here before a much bigger breakdown would be about 0.135. So we are starting to run out of room. We can also make a small little support area here as well. So this is actually what we're doing right now. So in order to break down, you'd have to break this uptrending support line at about 151. Then you'd come down here to the channel. So that's your little small pattern we're in. So take a screenshot of that if you're paying attention. And then H bar for the ones who like H bar. We have still trying to retest this breakdown here. And if this little bull flag plays out, we should be able to get a rejection at about 0.41. It's not that far up. It's about 0.3 cents. And then if you see us break down and this little bear flag plays out, this should get us all the way down here to the bottom of the pattern at 0.258. A lot of stuff going on, but we're at a very, very weird spot here with H bar. And this is about as accurate as I can make it. So pay attention to this for H bar. And we're trying to retest this broken structure right now at about 0.417. But we can also get rejected here if we break down below the 0.387. We would probably be on our way down to 0.255. There's going to be a big drop here with H bar on the next drop if the market doesn't cooperate. So pay very, very close attention to that. Make sure to look in the video description below. You can join me on BITGET, MEXC, or UPHOLD. I highly advise MEXC in the USA. There's no spot fees, no VPN, and no KYC. You can trade XRP up to 200x if you want to leverage trade it as well. And then obviously BitGet is the most user-friendly in my opinion. It's just in the USA it's harder to use because they're trying to cover their ass on US regulations and yada, yada, yada. So make sure to hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate if you share this far and wide. And I'll see you later this afternoon.